So there is something about attraction that most men never ever figure out. And it's something that's so powerful, so deeply wired into the female brain that it pretty much controls who every woman on the planet is attracted to or feels drawn to without them even realizing it. Okay, if you look at most guys tend to think that women choose who they are attracted to. Most guys believe that women consciously choose who they are attracted to. And they believe that women actually sit down and logically weigh their options and then pick the best man based on his qualifications, based on his looks, his job, or how well he treats her. But what if I told you that that's not how this thing actually works at all? And what if I told you that women don't actually choose attraction? And at the end of the day, what actually happens is that women are pulled into it, okay? Women are pulled into attraction. Let me explain. So it's kind of like a force of nature, okay? It's kind of like gravity itself. And the proof is actually really shocking. It's really interesting. It comes from one of the most shocking experiments that's ever been performed in psychology. Now, this is an experiment that completely changed how we understand human behavior, and it applies to women in so many different ways that you couldn't possibly imagine. So this is called the Stanford Prison Experiment, okay? And in 1971, psychologist by the name of Philip Zimbardo ran an experiment that would become one of the most controversial ever performed in history. And what he did was he gathered a group of regular everyday men, which is basically 95% of men out there. These were college students who had no criminal records, they had no history of violence, and they had no power over anyone in their daily lives. Okay, so they were just your average Joe, basically. So what he did next was he split these men, these everyday men, into two groups. One group was given guard uniforms, and they were told that they were now in charge. Now, the other group was given prisoner uniforms, and this group was told that they had to obey the guards. Now, nobody was forced to act in any certain way. There were no rules that said that the guards had to be cruel or that the prisoners had to submit to them. It was simply just, at its core, a role-playing experiment. But then something insane happened, something unexpected. And within hours, the guards actually started acting completely differently. And what happened was that these everyday men, these average Joes, well, they started to become really dominant, and they started giving orders and controlling everything, and even punishing the prisoners for pretty much no reason at all. And the prisoners, well, what happened with them was just as fascinating. Even though they were equals just hours earlier, they were on the same equal footing as the men who were told to behave like prison guards. What happened with the prisoners is that the men who were in the group of prisoners, well, they submitted. They actually submitted to the guards, and they followed their orders. And they basically lost their sense of power completely. But why did this happen? The reason why this happened is very simple. The reason why this happened is because the men with the strongest frame took control of the situation, okay? And the rest followed. So what does this have to do with women and attraction? The answer is everything. It has everything to do with women and attraction. Now, I want you to imagine this same effect, okay? But imagine this in the world of dating and attraction, okay? The thing about women is that women don't consciously choose who they are attracted to, okay? It does not occur on a conscious level. It is instinctual. It is unconscious. It is something they feel. And so women are uncontrollably pulled towards the man who has the strongest frame, okay? I never want you to forget this. Never, ever forget this. At the end of the day, all women are uncontrollably pulled or drawn in by the man who has the strongest frame in any social situation, in any social dynamic, social setting. Okay? And so the man who has the strongest frame is typically the man who who's unshakable in his beliefs. He's the man who doesn't fold under social pressure from other people. He doesn't cave. In other words, his frame does not cave to other people. Okay? He's the man who basically sets the tone and expects or assumes that the rest of the world will follow. Okay? Because just like in the Stanford prison experiment, what happened, what this revealed about human nature, which also applies to women and attraction, is that it's very simple. People instinctively follow the person who has the most control over their reality. Okay, people at the end of the day, especially women. Okay, men are a little bit more notorious for resisting another man's quote unquote frame, but women are notorious for basically groupthink and herd behavior, which is where they instinctively follow the person or the people who have the most control over their reality. Okay, and for women, that control, that unshakable presence, that strong frame, right? That unbreakable frame that a man has, that is what creates attraction. Okay, that is whenever women try to test you, whenever women are trying to run, a typical test on you to probe your confidence, to probe you, what they're really doing is they're probing your frame. Okay, they're trying to break your frame. Okay, and the thing is, if they can't actually break it, this is what gets them excited. This is what ultimately gets them extremely excited. If they can't break your frame, it gets them incredibly excited, okay? It basically dramatically increases their attraction for you. So basically what it comes down to is that your frame is pretty much the ultimate attraction trigger, okay? It's more powerful than pretty much anything else. And so to explain this in the simplest way possible, women are not attracted to men because of their looks, their money, or their words. They are in part, but the overwhelming majority, the 80% of attraction, does not come from your looks, your money, or your words. It doesn't come from any of these external things. Women are attracted more than anything else. Okay, this is the 80 to 90% of what actually turns women on. They are attracted to how men carry themselves. Okay, they are attracted to a man's inner reality. Okay, the way that a man carries himself, that's essentially his frame. Okay, because what you believe, or the frame that you operate from mentally in your mind, that will dictate how you behave. Okay, if you have a weak frame, then you will behave in a very weak, passive, timid kind of way. Okay, that will rub off into your behavior. Your behavior is dictated by your frame. If you're very strong and you're very confident and you believe in yourself and you think that you're the man, then guess what? That will also come through via your behavior. Okay, so the way that you carry yourself is dictated entirely by your frame. It's controlled by your frame. Okay, and what you have to understand is that in the eyes of women, frame is power. Okay, a man who can hold frame, so to speak, is power. He's attractive. He's dominant, okay? That's what frame is. Women are attracted to a man's inner reality that he is projecting out over the external world, that he's projecting out into the world, okay? They're attracted to your frame. And so when a man has a weak frame, women instantaneously recognize this. Okay, a man who has a weak frame tends to get nervous when women challenge him. He changes his opinions to match the opinions of women and other people. He seeks approval instead of expecting approval. Okay, what happens is when a woman senses that a man has a weak frame, or if a man has a strong frame and a woman is able to basically break his frame or cause him to lose frame, what happens is that attraction dies, okay? It completely goes away. But if a man has a strong frame, if you're able to stay centered and stay in frame, so to speak, no matter what, that's when the magic happens, okay? When women meet a man who has an unbreakable, unshakable frame, a man who has a belief about himself that is so unbreakable that no matter nothing that she says or does has any effect on it whatsoever, it's just like, it's kind of like just water, brushing up against a stone. There's just nothing. There's no reaction. That's when your frame is that strong, women absolutely cannot resist you. Okay, because it's very rare. Okay, the overwhelming majority of men have a weak frame and they are followers and they are passive by nature. Okay, 95% of men out there, they operate from the mindset of reacting to other people's frames rather than projecting their own frame onto reality. Okay? And so when you have an unbreakable frame, it's pretty much the closest thing that you can get to a sort of like something like a God mode or something for attraction. Like it's that powerful. Okay. Women cannot resist this. Okay. And women, the coolest thing about it is that women, they don't choose to feel attraction. Okay. They feel attraction instinctually on an unconscious level. And so what this means is that when they come across a man who has a frame that is unbreakable, what happens is that their brain will not allow them to not be attracted to him. Okay. As long as a woman is attracted to you in terms of like, some of the other things like, how you look and stuff like that, as long as you're not extremely repulsive looking, most women who would be attracted to you will be 100 times more attracted to you if you can maintain frame. Okay. If you can maintain a strong, dominant frame. Okay. The harsh truth about attraction is that women don't sit down and logically decide who they're attracted to. They don't sit down and say, well, you know what? This guy has a good job. He makes a lot of money. He's good looking, this and that. They don't sit down and logically decide that. Women are emotional creatures. So they're emotionally pulled towards the man at the end of the day who has the strongest frame. Okay. Most guys think that attraction is based on so many other things. Okay. But the 80% of attraction, it all comes down to the frame that you operate from around women and how strong that frame is, okay? Because if you are the man in any room who holds the strongest frame to the point where everyone else is simply reacting to your frame or reacting to the reality that you're projecting out into the world around them, that's what's going to turn women on, okay? That's what women will be attracted to. That's what pulls women emotionally towards you. Women can't help this. It is all instinctual. And the reason why is because if you go all the way back to ancient times, the man who is most likely to survive is the man who had the strongest frame. Okay, the man who sets his own reality, the man who never follows, who leads, okay, who projects his version of reality onto other people, onto the world, okay, who gets other people to submit to his frame. That's the man that women are ultimately attracted to. Okay, because attraction for women is not a choice; it is a reaction to raw strength. Okay, and so the man with the strongest frame will always be the man who wins. Okay, the man with the strongest frame is the man who wins. Okay, so the more you practice this, the more you practice projecting your beliefs, your frame onto the external world and getting other people to submit to that frame and never breaking frame. Okay, the more that you do that, the more that your attractiveness will increase 100-fold. It's really that powerful. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and until next time, thanks for watching.